History is full of whispers, secrets, and things the powers that be would rather we forget. But some secrets are just too big to stay buried. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on 7 shocking conspiracies that were once dismissed as fiction, but turned out to be terrifyingly real. Stick with me, because the last one will completely change how you see the world around you. Let's start with Operation Mockingbird. Imagine the CIA, the nation's top intelligence agency, not just gathering information, but actively shaping it. In the 1950s, during the height of the Cold War, the CIA allegedly recruited top journalists from major news outlets. Their mission: to spread propaganda, plant false stories, and control the narrative both at home and abroad. They called it Operation Mockingbird. For years, it was just a rumor, a paranoid whisper among conspiracy theorists. But in 1975, the Church Committee, a Senate investigation into intelligence abuses, blew the lid off the whole thing. They found evidence of the CIA's cozy, and often covert, relationship with the press. The agency admitted to using journalists for intelligence purposes, turning the trusted voices of the news into tools of the state. The full extent of Mockingbird is still debated, but its existence is a chilling reminder that what we read and hear might not always be the full story. Next up, we have something that sounds like it was ripped straight from a sci-fi horror film: the Tuskegee Syphilis Study. In 1932, the U.S. Public Health Service began a study in Tuskegee, Alabama, involving 600 African American men. 399 of them had syphilis. They were told they were receiving free health care for bad blood. But here's the horrifying truth: they weren't being treated at all. Even when penicillin became a standard cure for syphilis in the 1940s, the researchers withheld it. They wanted to observe the brutal, untreated progression of the disease until death. For 40 years, these men suffered, went blind, insane, or died, all while the cure was readily available. It was a secret kept by doctors and government officials until an Associated Press reporter, Gene Heller, exposed the story in 1972. The public outcry was immediate and immense, leading to major reforms in laws about human experimentation. It's a dark stain on American history, a conspiracy of silence that costs hundreds of lives. Now, let's talk about the government's foray into mind control. It's called culture. If you've ever thought the government was trying to get inside your head, well, you weren't entirely wrong. From the 1950s to the 70s, the CIA conducted a top-secret project to find ways to control the human mind. They were obsessed with finding a truth serum for interrogating spies. Their methods were extreme and unethical. They experimented on unwitting American and Canadian citizens, sometimes using hypnosis, sensory deprivation, psychological abuse, and even dosing people with drugs like LSD. Without their knowledge or consent, many of these experiments were conducted at universities and hospitals, institutions people are supposed to trust. The project was so secretive that in 1973, the CIA director ordered all MKUltra files destroyed. But some documents survived, and when they were uncovered by congressional investigations, they revealed a shocking program of non-consensual human experimentation by a government agency on its own people. Number 4 takes us into the world of big tobacco. For decades, cigarette companies sold a product they knew was deadly and addictive, all while publicly denying it. You've probably seen the old ads with doctors recommending their favorite brand of cigarettes. It seems absurd now, but that was the reality. Behind the scenes, these companies' own research showed a clear link between smoking and lung cancer as early as the 1950s. But what did they do with this information? Te Bouried, Italiano. They launched massive public relations campaigns to create doubt and confusion about the science. They hired their own scientists to produce conflicting research and famously testified before Congress, under oath, that they did not believe Nicotia was addictive. This conspiracy of lies continued for nearly 50 years, until internal documents were leaked in the 1990s, exposing the massive fraud. This led to landmark lawsuits that cost the industry billions and changed how tobacco could be marketed forever. Remember the Gulf of Tonkin incident? It's the event that officially plunged the United States into the Vietnam War. In August 1964, President Lyndon B. Johnson told the nation in Congress that North Vietnamese patrol boats had launched an unprovoked attack onto U.S. destroyers in the Gulf of Tonkin. Congress responded by passing the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution, giving the president broad power to escalate military action in Southeast Asia. For years, this was the official story, but it was a lie. Decades later, declassified documents from the National Security Agency, or NSA, revealed the truth. The first attack was exaggerated, and the second attack, the one that triggered the massive military response, likely never even happened. It was a phantom event, a misinterpretation of radar signals in bad weather. Key officials knew this at the time, but pushed the false narrative to Congress and the American public to gain support for a war they wanted to fight. A conspiracy that led to a decade of conflict and the loss of over 58,000 American lives. Number 6 might keep you up at night. It's called COINTELPRO, short for Counterintelligence Program. This wasn't about foreign spies. It was about the FBI spying on Americans. From 1956 to 1971, under Director J. Edgar Hoover, the FBI ran a secret program to surveil, discredit, and disrupt domestic political organizations. Their targets: anti-war protesters, civil rights leaders, feminist groups, and anyone the FBI deemed subversive. They didn't just watch, they acted. They forged letters to create conflict within groups, planted false media stories to ruin reputations, and used illegal wiretaps and break-ins to gather information. Their most famous target was Martin Luther King Jr. The FBI tried to blackmail him, discredit him, and even sent him an anonymous letter suggesting he'd take his own life. The program was exposed in 1971 when activists broke into an FBI office and stole documents, leaking them to the press. The revelations showed how a powerful government agency had secretly waged war on its own citizens for exercising their right to dissent. Okay, we've arrived at number 7. This one is different. It's not in the distant past. It's happening right now. And it affects every single person who uses the internet. In 2013, a contractor named Edward Snowden walked out of the NSA with a trove of classified documents. What he revealed was staggering. He exposed a global surveillance program of a scale previously unimaginable. The NSA, in cooperation with other intelligence agencies and telecom companies, was secretly collecting massive amounts of data on millions of people worldwide, including American citizens. This wasn't targeted surveillance of suspected criminals. It was a dragnet. They were collecting phone records, emails, text messages, and internet activity from virtually everyone. The government had argued it was all legal and necessary for fighting terrorism. Snowden's leaks proved that the surveillance was far more extensive and intrusive than the public was ever told. It sparked a global debate about privacy, security, and the power of the state in the digital age. This isn't history, it's our current reality. The very device you're watching this on can be a tool for surveillance, from mind control to mass surveillance. These 7 stories show that sometimes the truth really is stranger and more disturbing than fiction. They prove that we should always question the official narrative and demand accountability. What other truths are still waiting to be uncovered? Thanks for watching. If this opened your eyes, hit that like button and subscribe to HistorYo for more deep dives into the secrets they don't want you to know. See you next time.